Earlier in the broadcast, Jim Spellman was talking about this very important issue, the issue of the United States perhaps cutting aid to Egypt. And we're now joined by David Ottaway. He's a senior fellow at the Woodrow Wilson Center to talk more about this issue. The law is pretty specific about this. You know, if there's a coup, it has to be cut. Right. So right now, it seems as though the administration is kind of dancing around on this. It seems to be a polarizing issue on Capitol Hill. A lot of senators clamoring. How do you see this thing playing out?
It's a very delicate issue. This is a huge decision. It is our most important relationship with the Egyptian government today, the military. And I think we want to be very careful about thinking about cutting aid. Now, they've put the military on warning that this could happen. And it's going to depend on how the military behaves in the coming days and weeks regarding the crackdown on the Muslim Brotherhood, because the U.S. government and most Egyptian parties say we've got to include the Muslim Brotherhood in the process going forward. But if the military now arrests all of the Muslim Brotherhood leaders, they're not going to participate. And so the U.S. government, I think, is waiting and has warned the Egyptian military that they're watching regarding how they now deal with the Muslim Brotherhood.
The Egyptian ambassador to the United States was up on Capitol Hill this week trying to assuage lawmakers and say this would be a terrible signal to send to Egypt if the aid were to be cut. And obviously there's going to be a vacuum if it's cut. Give me your analysis on what could happen if it is cut.
Were it to be cut, first of all, I don't think it's going to be cut. I think it's going to be, at worst, suspended. Were it to be cut, I think it would put a lot of pressure on the military to really take power, because they would have no leverage or reason not to. And we don't want the military to. We want them to extract themselves from the military, from the political process. And if we cut them, we could drive them into becoming themselves more determined to take power. Because then there is no risk, there's no leverage, no reason for them not to do exactly what we don't want them to do.
There was a piece in the Washington Post earlier this week about the ambassador to Egypt, Ann Patterson,
yes,
and how one of the people quoted in it said, we actually hate her more than we hate Morsi, which seems remarkable, and he said it was remarkable as well. It seems as though the Obama administration has really, obviously it's a tough one to thread, but they haven't really won a lot of admirers in Egypt, have they? We can agree on that.
We went through the same thing when Mubarak was overthrown. You know, we waffle, and we try to straddle both sides of the issue. And this, you know, ends by angering both sides, because they interpret our waffling as supporting the other side.
But there aren't a lot of good options.
There are not a lot of good options, unfortunately.
But the key at this point, in your estimation, keep the aid going, because it's one of the few levers left.
Keep the aid going. At the worst, suspend it. I would not send the 4 F-16s that the Pentagon has just said they're going to send in August, that they bought from us. I would say we're going to delay it until we see how you're behaving.
All right, David Ottaway, thank you so much for coming in and giving us your analysis this evening. Certainly appreciate your time.
My pleasure.